So let's jump on into our game, guys, as we do have spawning up to our top left-hand corner here as our pink Zerg. He goes by the name of aTnDelphi.
And down in the bottom side from Team EG, it is ThorZaIN.
And I would love to see something very similar to what we saw Demaga do. And wait a minute, ThorZaIN, what are you up to? Oh god, he has so many minerals saved up. I was so confused as to what he was up to then. But he's just going to go for a supply depot at his ramp. Yeah, he was up to quite a few units. Anyway, the point is that I would love to see Delphi. Oh god, he's going to go for a temple. Oh.
Ooh, right. This is clever.
This is pretty cool. I mean, he could put on some aggression once again. ThorZaIN's just been constantly going command center first in every single ZVT, apart from the ones on Cloud Kingdom, where he never goes command center first, or tries not to at least. So this will be interesting.
This is a very, very cute little play coming out of Delphi. He is going for the extractor trick, trying to jump straight in to the aggression roll. He's seen that, I mean, I don't know if he's actually seen the other games that ThorZaIN has played, maybe in other tournaments, but I mean, this consistent command center first is coming out.
Oh,
Kalaris, this is gonna, I mean, we talked about physical hurt last time we saw ThorZaIN in Game 3, the physical pain of watching him go 2 racks, get destroyed, and then just have everything he did spotted, everything he did shut down, and now here too we might see ThorZaIN just die to an early pool. He's not even building it on the high ground.
Oh god. Well, the one nice thing that ThorZaIN has going for him is this SCV scout. He's going to see the Zerglings. He's no doubt, I would say he's going to cancel the command center and try and go up to his natural, his main ramp. He sees the Zerglings now. How is he reacting? He's not going to cancel. He's not canceling. Okay.
Well, you know, a lot of people say first, or you should cancel this as quickly as possible, then hop back onto the main, and then just rebuild the command center there. And that's precisely what we see ThorZaIN doing. He should really lift that depot, though. Lift the depot. ThorZaIN, lift the depot, lift the depot, lift the depot. ThorZaIN, lift the depot, lift the depot, lift the depot. Oh, my God. Oh, in the nick of time, he manages to get it up. I mean, really playing with the heartstrings of all the viewers at home. But as you were saying beforehand, in Cloud versus Demaga, you can't repair a building.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I actually just took a glance over at the stream and I loved what our observer was doing. He was like shaking the camera as you were going on about the depot. That was awesome. So observer, you are a boss. And a big shout out to our observer actually, Mr. Funker. And also O Gaming, as for now these Zerglings still nibbling away at this wall, but they get up in time and they can't really do much else.
Well, ThorZaIN has managed to stay alive and is not overreacting either, just building the 2 Marines. And finally, we have ourselves a calmed down, nice, good old standard game. And of course, yes, huge shout out to O Gaming, who are helping with all this here event that we know as IronSquid Chapter 2. I mean, I've seen them in real life. They are dash cunning, dapper gents.
I have not seen them in real life just yet, but I'm under the impression that we will end up doing, well, I will end up doing, at the final, as well as you, obviously. So that's going to be pretty cool to meet these guys. They're just doing a phenomenal job. The production, I ended up watching Group B from the comfort of my own home, and it was so much fun to watch. I'm so happy to be a part of this tournament, just in general. I said it last cast, but after watching IronSquid #1 in my bedroom, as I wanted to be a wannabe caster in Finland, it was, you know, a lot of fun to be part of #2.
Now people want to be like you. Ooh.
Oh, that's weird. Oh dear.
Well, looks like ThorZaIN's following up with this factory play. I'd imagine that he would be going for a similar play that we saw him do on Abyssal City. Going for the reactor to get the Hellions, but then adding on barracks #3 for a little bit of aggression in between the 7 and 13-minute marks.
Yeah, that's one of the timings that we're going to have to look out for here. As for now, we will have ThorZaIN just walling off, killing a few of these Zerglings potentially as well as he hunts them down just a little bit. And gets 1 or 2 for his troubles, so not too bad.
Should be in reasonable shape at this point in time. I'm excited by this very early tech lab. I love early stim plays out of Terran players. There's the Marine, there's the stim. Nom nom nom. ThorZaIN could potentially go for an early third command center as well, but if he did that, he would have to follow this up with Medivacs. He wouldn't really be able to do too aggressive of a push. Delphi, on the other hand, is getting himself up his very early third, but to defend it, he's also getting the Zergling speed and the 4 queens up. So he has those extra queens 3 and 4 quite far extended out to that extra base.
And look at this, ThorZaIN just going into his third command center as well, relying on that heavy macro usage that ThorZaIN is well known for. And against Delphi here, I mean, neither of these players wants to take huge risks in game number 3, which is their life on the line in this tournament, which is, again, an extremely prestigious tournament. Yeah, let me re-say that. An extremely prestigious tournament now. So
yeah.
I got it in the second time, it's okay.
Maximum prestige. Yes. We are seeing there's a little bit of production. He's kind of going for a Marine Hellion mixture. Generally, when you go for a Marine Hellion, if you want to do an early push, you get the fast combat shield. As a result, you can do the push a lot earlier, but we're seeing ThorZaIN looks like he's not gearing up to do a big push. He's just trying to kill off as many drones as he can with this type of Hellion play. With the Zergling speed done, though, I would definitely advise ThorZaIN against moving out. Marines with stim and no combat shield die so quickly, it makes no sense.
Yeah, especially with Delphi now adding on that Baneling Nest as well as extra gas geysers and that layer to just fuel his mid-game so strongly. This is going to be very hard for ThorZaIN to attack into. Delphi's going to be very mobile, and also, I mean, Delphi's getting a little bit of a good creep spread going in the middle of the map as well, and Ohana is one of those maps that really allows for getting phenomenal creep spread going if you're adamant about it.
Yeah, it's one of the maps also where the counter to a lot of strategies is the adamant creep spread. Yeah. How do you defend against the huge 3-base pushes? Well, you have creep in his base, in his face, and there's just not that much that he can do about it. ThorZaIN, I like the way he's playing it off. He's using the early barracks to get kind of fast stim, but he's not going to follow it up with aggression. He's mainly going to rely on Hellions, and once he gets the combat shield, he can do a little bit of pressure with Marine and Medivac. But the most important thing, though, is that he is getting the 1-1 upgrades, and then we'll be doing a 2-2 push. But it looks like the 2-2 push will be delayed up until maybe even 16 minutes.
And I just in general from our Zergy player here, I love the Ling Infest and Bane mid game, especially on this map. It's what we've seen from Damaga beforehand, and it's something that we're going to see from Delphi here now. It works out so well to constrict your opponent on 3-base more than anything, but also even if you're constricting on 3-base, there's still avenues that you can go for attack. Unfortunately, though, for Delphi, ThorZaIN's always really good about his SimCity and walls off everything all the time. So he's doing
and it's nice SimCity too, because if you look at the inside angle where the attack angle is, it's pretty small, the amount of surface area that Lings can deal damage. Yet ThorZaIN maximizes the amount of surface area he can have repairing each of those on the backside. So it's a nice, very nice, well thought out defensive formation, not just sort of bluntly hitting the BS key.
Yeah, it's 2 Banelings rolling on in, trying to connect with Hellions, but they do not in the end. As for now, Zerglings and Banelings moving into the middle of the map. Delphi's looking to go for a wave of aggression here. If he can kill off these Hellions, there's not that much more. Actually, no, he has plenty of Marines to actually deal with this. So these Banelings, they should be able to connect with the Hellions, but will they be able to connect with much more? I don't think so.
Oh, they're trying to go for the SCVs, but look at ThorZaIN, the excellent splitting both on SCVs and Marines, minimizing the amount of damage that they can do, and it looks like one explosion will go off, but those SCVs will only know what it's like to have a good story of how they didn't die. Yep. And per usual, ThorZaIN, like most other Terran players, is just going to be maxing up on the attacking units for the big 2-2 push. Now note that at this point in time, ThorZaIN is behind on tanks, and actually doesn't even have a second factory. So in this circumstance, the generally correct response is to build more Medivacs. Generally, you cut the Medivacs, but if you can't spend the gas on tanks, you may as well make sure that those Marines are super indestructible. And it ends up being a nice substitution, a more aggressive substitution. But I prefer the tanks in this spot.
I heard you drop something. Was that a pen by chance, Sean?
I actually dropped the pen onto the mic, so apologies to anyone who heard the thud in the ear.
It wasn't too loud. Don't worry about it. As for now, we will have The Hellion, actually, no, medevac drops on the way here. Delphi's using a style, once again, with the Ultralisk Cavern that was popularized by people like Stefano against Terrans. And it's a phenomenal strat if you can get up to the Ultralisks and deny any kind of harassment going down. But ThorZaIN's using the correct response to this. If he can do some damage with these double medevac drops and the poke through the middle in this window of time, there is the possibility that he can stifle the movement here of Delphi.
Yeah, I mean, ThorZaIN is doing the big 2-2 push. He's doing the drops. The reason that we're seeing ThorZaIN go for this attack is it forces Delphi to build the Ultras. But look at Delphi with a counterattack on the third base, doing some very nice damage. And ThorZaIN is looking remarkably low on Marines. He's only at 40, and most of them are not even grouped together. It kind of has them spread out all over the map. Delphi is behind on upgrades, but is holding strong. Again, he has to build Ultras to be able to hold this attack off. As we saw in game number 1, if you go for Brood Lords too quick, you die.
And look at that, Delphi constantly tries to hide his tech. He's spreading creep with Overlords across his Ultralisk Cavern, trying to hide it as best he can. ThorZaIN has no clue that his opponent has a hive or Ultralisks on the way right now. And he's actually poking in at the top right-hand corner. Zergling's trying to defend movement at the 4th, as well as ThorZaIN trying to move into the middle of the map. But Zergling counterattacks constantly down to the bottom location as well for Delphi. There's just engagements all over the map.
Gosh, this is a very difficult map or game to even follow. I mean, there's just so much stuff happening all over the place. But ThorZaIN is continuing to consistently push up to this top right base. He's getting 3-3, and Delphi's doing the smart move. He's just waiting for those Ultralisks to pop up. And in the unit counting station, we do see that there's not that many Lings out right now. This is the opportunity for ThorZaIN to really deal damage. He's starting to lose Infestors. He's lost 1, 2, will he lose 3? Barely, no, but 2 is still plenty in this spot.
Well, there's a lot of Banelings morphing in here for Delphi as well. The Marines are on the way to try and put on some pressure. Will catch one of the Queens for their troubles as they split up very, very nicely here. This is making it hard for Banelings and Fungals to really do anything. But he's going to swing in from the back here with the Ultralisks as well. Delphi getting a really nice engagement here as he minces everything up completely with those Kaiser Blades on the Ultras. 2-2 upgrades.
Oh, wow.
Chasing them down.
Excellent engagement there by Delphi. I mean, just doing stupid amounts of damage with that early push, and we even see that Delphi got away with a 4th base. I mean, that is up and running, and it looks absolutely fine. There's just really no downside to the position Delphi's in, and ThorZaIN is looking to be on the ropes amazingly, Talaris.
He really is. There's 3-3 finishing up as well as +2 for the siege tanks, but still, ThorZaIN needs some way to try and grab a 4th and keep up with Delphi, because if he cannot, it's going to get to the point where Delphi starts swinging between techs too freely when he gets a nice bank going. And in a situation like that, no Terrans feel comfortable. That's just a horrible, horrible position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, ThorZaIN is pretty much just going to have to wait to 3-3. That's really going to be the only play.
Or just go for a big Doom drop with 4 medevacs up to the left-hand side.
Really? Oh my gosh, then this Doom drop actually syncs up with 3-3. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a timing, but wow.
Well, this could do quite a bit, as his opponent's entire army is way out of position trying to deny a 4th still. But he could get the Hive, he could get Infestation Pit, Baneling Nest. There's so much that's vulnerable here, and nowhere near enough Zerglings to deal with it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, is ThorZaIN actually going to be able to pull off a miracle here? I mean, he's already marching forward. He's picked off a number of Infestors. The Ultralisk is taken down. The Hive is getting low. The Hive's getting low, and there it goes.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's a pretty good spot for Delphi. That's a pretty good spot for ThorZaIN to be in right now as he grabs himself the 4th base. He's morphing into a planetary fortress. That's a big, big choice there. Anything less than a planetary fortress at that 4th location, when your opponent has a huge amount of Lings and Ultralisks, is not a good spot to be in. But that being said, he's morphing it in. He needs to cancel and lift it off. There you go.
Yeah. It is going to be delayed. The real danger, though, is that we see that back in the main base, ThorZaIN still has another drop. What can he pick off in this main base? The Infestation Pit would be a devastating blow. I mean, the Zerglings are going to deal some damage. ThorZaIN manages to get out in time with... Is ThorZaIN even going to think about re-dropping? I mean, that would be... That could be another huge play, because we're seeing Delphi is just parking all his units here. He's basically saying, ThorZaIN, here is where my army is. You don't need to worry about any sort of problem with your counterattacks.
Looks like ThorZaIN still trying to clear out that 4th location, poking forwards with his Marines here. The Ultralisks still trying to find a location as well, but that's not the best engagement position for them to go into. The siege tanks are going to get destroyed, but the Marines in the back here, tying these Ultralisks quite nicely, bottling them up as well. They need to kill off all the Zerglings, taking out the siege tanks. And actually, he landed his command center and he died off to the Ultras. What the hell?
What the heck? But this angle was literally the worst possible angle for Delphi. All his units have sacrificed themselves for the greater good, and by the greater good, I mean ThorZaIN's good. And now, with the 3-3 upgrades finishing, there's not as many vulnerabilities for the Hive Tech dying, but Delphi's biggest concern now is, can he even stay alive to this counter swing?
Yeah, the direct push is going to be hard for him to deal with because he just has no gas banked up right now. Sure, he has all the minerals, or just a little bit of minerals, but just Zerglings against this push coming along eventually from ThorZaIN, who's going to constantly leap forwards towards this 4th base. Delphi has a timer above his head right now, and unless he can deal with this slow siege tank push, ThorZaIN is going to spoon him to death. Oh my god.
There's an attack from Delphi coming along the left side. It says, as ThorZaIN continues to spoon aggressively up along the top right corridor. We're seeing Delphi slip through mid-map, but there's so many tanks there. Oh, every infestor falls. And you were talking about the lack of gas built up. Well, look in the main base, that hive hasn't been rebuilt, which means that those 2 geysers are not really even being utilized.
Yeah, they still have 1,000 on them each. That's massive, actually. Now, looking at it, I mean, normally you would say, yeah, he's got those 8 gas guys. That's a fantastic position to be in on Hive Tech, but he's only had really 6 up and running. And he actually has a few workers AFK, and then also going to push him once again, trying to find a good location to engage against this. But ThorZaIN has too big a spread here. There's not enough for Delphi. And there you go, GG. ThorZaIN eliminates aTnDelphi, who was one of the people to qualify through the qualifying stages.